Kat, and welcome to the Crime Chat. I am your forensic femme fatale. Natalie is your true crime addict connoisseur.
We're just two normal girls who obsess about dark crimes, evil minds, and occasionally the unknown with a side of fava beans and a nice Chianti.
Mmm, very
Cheers.
fancy.
Mm-hmm.
Cheers. Cheers. My forensic femme fatale cup.
Mm.
Here's your disclaimer, chatters. The following crime chat contains adult content and descriptions of violent scenarios today, so your listener discretion is advised.
You have been warned. And before we get into today's crime chat, Kat, what have you done?
Well,
Mm.
the little reprieve that we were taking, watching The Big Bang Theory, totally binged it all the way through. So easy to watch. It's really, really, really,
Hey,
really fast. It's
how
12 seasons.
I was gonna say you binged 12 seasons.
Yeah,
It's
I
like,
did.
yeah.
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 But we did pick back up on starting back into The Walking Dead.
Mhm.
So we're in season 7 right now, where Negan's making all of his chaos and everything.
Yeah.
So we kind of picked that back up again. And I think partially due to that is from The Last of Us. Like, I've seen Pedro Pascal everywhere now.
He's freaking hot.
He is. And I'm like, I'm just like, he's like everywhere now, which is awesome. Good for him.
Yeah, he's so charismatic. I mean, he's just so charismatic.
And then we watched, you probably have seen the trailer for it, Murder Mystery 2 on Netflix.
Yes, I have seen the trailer. Is it good?
Yes, it's a lot like the first one.
Mm-hmm.
But we like the first one. It's just kind of like a kooky comedy with a spin of crime and murder. So
yeah, they're a good pair. They have a lot of chemistry together.
They are. But what about you?
So I watched The House of Hammer.
You did? How was that?
It's a dark story. So it's about 4 generations of the Hammer family. So the Hammer family, everybody immediately thinks like Arm and Hammer, the deodorant. But it's not. Armand Hammer is a man who basically gave us OxyContin.
Oh, okay.
So he's like one of the most wealthiest families in America. I think like the 14th most wealthiest family in America. And also he owns like oil rigs. And he actually, back in the 90s, he had like the worst spill of global history. You can Google it and like look it up.
Yeah.
But like 170 people died during the explosion. Really bad.
Now, is it a documentary?
It is.
Okay.
So it's based on the family and the men in the family. And it's based actually on the book that the granddaughter wrote, Casey Hammer, who is now alienated from the family. Like nobody will talk to her. But real horrible shit. So yeah, I would recommend it.
Okay.
So, the other thing is I got tickets for the Paranormal Circus.
Yes, my bestie went to that.
Did she like it?
Loved it.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I can't wait to hear about it. Before we jump into your story today, we do have one. So I'm going to go over 2 articles. One of them is kind of like I don't know, say like an update, but a crime chat recap. So our chatter Robert out there sent me an article about a Russian spy who was acting under the ruse of being a Johns Hopkins University student in Washington, D.C. So this article is from the Washington Post, and it says, quote, like anyone who gets in his dream college, Victor Mueller Ferreira was ecstatic when he was admitted to Johns Hopkins University Graduate School in Washington, D.C. in 2018. The achievement was even sweeter for Ferreira because he was not the striving student from Brazil he had portrayed on his Johns Hopkins application, but a Russian intelligence operative originally from Kaliningrad. According to a series of international investigations, as well as an indictment the Justice Department filed in federal court on Friday. And the Friday they're referring to would have been March 24th.
That's like now. Like,
yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like, I think we talked about it in the Robert Hansen. It's like, it's not a matter of if it happens again, it's a matter of when.
Exactly.
Anyway, so thanks, Rob, for sending that.
Thank you, Rob.
I'm going to have that full article available on Patreon. So I know your story today is about pigs. So this is my second
Oh,
article that I was mentioning. And I found this article on historytoday.com about occurrences in Europe where pigs were put on trial.
what?
Seriously, you're going to laugh this whole thing. Okay.
Okay.
So putting a pig on trial appears to defy logic, but in medieval France, it gave rural folk the illusion of order in a frightening world. So a lot of the information I'm going to be quoting is going to come directly from this article. Okay, first quote. In December 1457, a sow and her 6 piglets were arrested in Savigny. I'm not French. I don't know how to pronounce that. So Savigny, for the murder of a 5-year-old boy. Together with their owner, Jehan Bailey, they were dragged to jail, and a month later they were put on trial before a local judge. According to court records, 3 lawyers were present, 2 for prosecution and 1 for the pig's defense. 9 witnesses were called by name, in addition to several others whose identities have been lost. Based on their testimony, the judge decided that, while Bailey, the owner, should have kept a much more careful eye on his animals, responsibility for the boy's murder lays squarely with the pigs. The sow had been clearly the ringleader. After consulting with experts in a local customary law, the judge solemnly sentenced her to death, stipulating that she could be hanged from a tree by her hind legs. The piglets were a different matter, though. Since there was no direct evidence they had participated in the murder, the judge decided to let them off on a quote-unquote promise of good behavior. So the article kind of goes on, and there's a lot of weird little historical things, but it kind of concludes here. It says, quote, "It could never be said that the pig trials were edifying, but for legal historians, they really bring home the bacon." I'll list that one also in the Patreon so you guys can read it in full.
Yeah, and I have a couple of questions. One, I think I found a career that I would really enjoy. I would love to be the defense attorney for that pig. I just want to put them on the trial and be like, look how cute they are. Look how cute they are.
What they are.
Little babies.
Piglets.
Little piglets.
Piglets.
And if I could put some X's on that list, be great.
I mean, they are pigs, right?
Yes. So today's crime chat is going to be about Susan Monica. Have you ever heard of her?
I don't recall the name, but I think I'm aware of the story. It kind of sounds familiar.
Snapped, the show Snapped did cover the story.
That's why I used to watch nothing but Snapped all the time.
Yeah. Was your husband worried when you were watching that all the time?
100%.
So after she was discharged from the Navy, she began to go as she changed her name to Susan Monica. She started working as a construction engineer. Now, this lady knew a lot about, she was a kind of a worker bee. So she also knew a lot about welding, operating.
She probably did that in the Navy.
Yes.
They probably trained her to do.
She got a bunch of pigs, chickens, and horses. She ended up building this barn, and then she built like a little shack next to it. Real struggle was maintaining the 20 acres.
Sure.
That's work. She needed help. Oh, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So she started running the Craigslist ads for people to do odd jobs and maintain the property for her. And she offered, she's like, I'll give you a place to stay with some cash. And what she got is she got a lot of people that would come in, and then they would kind of like move on. They were like transient.
Sure.
Which brings us to Susan's first crime.
Oh.
Ooh. So in December 2013, the family of Robert Haney got worried about him. Robert